Hey guys, and welcome back to another Cast Iron Wednesday video. So today we're going to feature the Lodge Sportsman Pro Grill. This grill, I've had it for now almost 2 months, and I've used it several times. I made my first cook was a ribeye tomahawk. My second was some grilled teriyaki chicken, also some shrimp. I've done ribeye steak. I've done carne asada. I've done chicken. And the only thing I haven't done on this is actually fish, but so far very impressed. Now, here's the other thing that I wanted to tell you guys. If you guys are looking for a grill cover, the original LSG grill cover actually works really well for this. So what I did is I put the elastic band all the way at the bottom of the grill itself, so it goes all the way to the bottom, and that prevents the ashtray from falling out, and it actually works really well. And it might look like I'm having a hard time here, but it fits on really well, no issues whatsoever. So as I mentioned, if you guys are looking for a cover, the original LSG cover works for this. So let's move on to getting this ready. Alright guys, so I wanted to place my charcoal chimney inside there, but as you can see it did not work. So I just ended up getting a grill grate from my gas grill and placed my charcoal chimney on top of that. It works just as fine. I do think that I need a smaller charcoal chimney, but that's for another time. So anyway, this time around I saw from Backwoods Gourmet that he uses a single layer of charcoal, and I wanted to use that method and see how well it works. So I'm going to do that. The other thing that I want to show you guys is that I did season the outside. I also, which I didn't show, was actually sprayed the inside as well and did the same thing. Spray it, wipe it down. And the reason being is that this gives it a good seasoning every time you use it. Once it heats up, it seasons the oil that you place on it, and it works great. Now moving on, I am making carne asada, and it is a very thin piece of meat, so typically you want to cook this in a high heat, but I didn't want to overcook this since I've actually done that many times, and I wanted to go low and slow and see how well that would work. And so far I'm getting good results, no issues with flare-ups, no issues with charring or anything of that nature. If you saw my first video, I did char the tomahawk steak pretty badly, and I got some mixed reviews, and that's okay. I did. As I mentioned, I'm not a professional, guys. I do like cooking, I do like grilling, and I like cast iron, so this is why you see my videos. So I'm learning as I go as well, and I do appreciate you guys coming along the journey, learning, learning from everyone. This community likes to share a lot of things, and I do like that as well. So from the things that I pick up, I also share with you guys, and vice versa. So actually, the Cajun pit stick here I actually saw from Big Blue Barbecue. So shout outs to Big Blue for showcasing us some cool stuff to use for grilling or cooking. And I also picked up the charcoal grill grate cleaner that actually they also sell as well, and it actually works really well. It has, as you can see, all these different sizes, all these different shapes, and sure enough I found one that works great for this grill grate for the Lodge Sportsman Pro Grill. So if you guys are looking for a cleaner, I do recommend Cajun pit sticks. Check them out, guys, and they have great, awesome stuff. And I'll be honest with you guys, I don't have much time with the Cajun pit stick, and it does take a little bit of time getting used to it, just because I grew up using tongs or things of that nature. And so using the Cajun pit stick, as you can see here, I'm having a little bit of issue, a little bit of trouble, but that's not to say that this thing isn't amazing. It actually works really great, and I like the fact that it pierces the whatever you're trying to flip, and it works great because it's secure, it won't fall out. And once you get the hang of it, you start it almost comes like natural to you. So I'm sure the more times that I use this, the better I'm gonna get. But as you can see, everything is cooking really well. It's cooking slow, but it is leaving the meat nice and tender, nice and juicy. So I'm very happy with these results. As I mentioned, I did see this from Backwoods Gourmet, and I think he did a video cooking some chicken, doing the single layer of charcoal method, and it works great. I'm sure this would be great for burgers as well. Just make sure that they're nice and hot. And it'll prevent very big flare-ups, which that's kind of what I wanted to avoid. As I mentioned, if you saw my first video, I did have some flare-ups in the initial cook that I did with this grill, but the more that I'm using it, the more that I'm getting used to it. So The first couple of times I've had issues with just the ashtray and the draft door mechanism. Sometimes mine jams. That's just my experience. I know that Teach a Man to Fish hasn't had those problems, and I'm glad for him. I do know that he actually just had an issue with the grill itself not being level, but he actually found just loosening the bolts would be a good fix. So that's what I ended up doing as well. And so anyway, as you can see, the meat is getting a good sear on it. It's cooking really well. And this single layer method actually works really well to distribute the heat evenly. So even to the edges, even to the corners, I'm getting good heat. So all around getting good, even heat. No cold spots or no hot spots either. So I do recommend that you guys try this method out, give it a go. And as I mentioned, I feel like I have more control with the draft system. As you can see, I just kind of adjusted it. I'm trying to get it hotter here to get a good sear. So technically doing a reverse sear on this. I mean, I know that cooking thin pieces of protein, usually you want to get a good quick sear and, just flip it maybe once or twice and get it out of the grill. And that's about it. And it's a quick cook. As I mentioned, I didn't want the meat to dry out. And skirt steak is actually very notorious for drying out and being tough. That's why a lot of people don't like this kind of cut. But me being Hispanic, me being Mexican, I this is what we grew up with, and I do like using carne asada. I do like cooking carne asada, and so this is why I wanted to give this a go and also see how well the grill would do. And as I mentioned, the more that I use it, the more that I'm getting used to it, the more that I'm kind of figuring out the little quirks of it. And as I mentioned, if you were to pour a full chimney of charcoal, it is going to get blazing hot, guys, and you're going to have a difficult time trying to tone or adjust the charcoal temperature. So I do recommend that you use the single layer method. Give that a go in your initial cook. If you haven't picked one up yet or you're thinking about picking one up, give it a go, and I think you'll get better results and you'll most likely enjoy the results of it. So as you can see here, we also have agujas, the way I know them, or short ribs cut very thinly. And these are really great. If you guys haven't had this, give them a go as well. I do recommend these. You can find these cuts in a Mexican meat market or any kind of Hispanic meat market. And so yeah, give these a go. They taste great. They have a lot of flavor, especially because they're very marbled with fat. So they're juicy and you don't have to worry so much about whether they're going to be dry or not. So I did end up opening the draft system on this, so that way it'd get a little bit hotter and get a good quick sear on this. And as I mentioned, no issues at all. I mean, you can see there's flare-ups, but no issues with charring, guys. Not with like the first time, as I mentioned, I cooked a tomahawk. It got pretty charred. So far, as I mentioned, this is doing a great job and I'm very happy. So very happy with the results. It's cooking great. And I feel like I'm going to be using it this way. So if you want, use about half of your charcoal chimney. Fill it up halfway and use that amount. I wouldn't recommend filling up a full bucket of charcoal or a full chimney of charcoal. I would say do about half if you have the standard size. Now, if I know that they do sell a smaller version of a charcoal chimney, I would say maybe a full charcoal chimney of that would be okay if you have a smaller version. But as I mentioned, the less charcoal you have, the better performance you're going to get. And the more the ability you're going to have to control the heat, whether you want it hotter or cooler. And as you can see here, I did pull off the steak, the carne asada, and I put it back on to get a quick sear all over again and kind of warm them up just because that temperature kind of dropped down. And as you can see, nothing burned. Everything cooked really well. Everything is tender. The meat is almost pulling apart. So very happy with all these, with the results with the carne asada and the short ribs. Everything cooked really great. So I do like that a lot. And the more that I use this, the more that I'm falling in love with it. In the beginning, just a lot of things that I didn't like. One of those being the grease leakage, the unevenness, it doesn't sit flat, just how hot it ran. But as I mentioned, I am a novice. I'm not a professional cook, but I'm getting the hang of it. And just as trying to give you guys some pointers, some tips. So if you guys are planning to get one, as I mentioned, don't use that much charcoal. Just use a small amount, and it goes a long way, guys. And you can use charcoal briquettes. I know a lot of people frown about those things, the charcoal briquettes, but as you can see, look, they're still there. They're burning up really well. And this is already probably an hour into this. As I mentioned, everything was low and slow, and everything turned out great. No issues at all. So very happy with the results. As I mentioned, very simple dinner. You know, I also like cutting up some cheese, some Mexican cheese. And this, like I mentioned, this was a meal that I would eat with my family when I was younger, and it was just simple and delicious to me. So it was reminiscent of that. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. And as always, thank you for your time.